is reportedly an object that is not in this country, that is so large it cannot be moved. That they've built an entire building around it, and that's one of the locations that I'm requesting to get to. It's going to involve a lot to make that happen, but that may be the final destination.
So that is the claim, and it was made by a Republican member of Congress, that there is reportedly this object in another country that's so big it can't be moved, and a massive structure has been built around it to hide its location. But several questions remain. What is this? When did it get here, and why is it being kept a secret? Our next guests are both trying to get those answers. Missouri Congressman Eric Burlison, who sits on the Congressional Oversight Committee investigating UAPs and is trying to get permission to visit this alleged site, is with us alongside the founder of the Disclosure Project, Dr. Stephen Greer. It's great to have you both here. Congressman, what do we know about what this thing really is?
I don't know that I have any hard evidence of what it really is. I've had allegations from both inside and outside of the federal government that there is this object that exists in another country. I'm not going to mention the country because I've heard of it inside of a closed setting, and I want to protect my classification level. But others may say that. I can tell you that it's not in the facility that's been widely reported in the news. But I have been receiving reports both inside and outside of people that have worked in the federal government that there is the potential that this exists.
Okay. Dr. Greer, you have said publicly that this is outside Seoul, South Korea. Is that accurate?
Yep. One of them. Now, remember, I have debriefed almost 800 whistleblowers who've had direct involvement with this. One of them was with the Pentagon for about 8 years as a very senior investigator and had baseline clearance across 18 black project, unacknowledged special access projects. He specifically knew of the one in the mountains outside Seoul, South Korea. It was so huge, they had to build a structure around it. And he was read into this in between 2002 and 2010.
Okay.
So it had been there for some time. Now, I also know there are others that have been brought down in other locations. And if they're over a certain size, they're very, very hard to move. Imagine if they're bigger than a football field. And you're not going to put that on a semi. So it becomes logistically impossible to move it. And then in the United States, we know where there are some others, such as near Fort Sill, Oklahoma. There's a smaller one. They built a SCIF, a facility around that one. We have its location. So I know that the congressman can speak, to what he's limited, but because I'm a private citizen, I can discuss these.
Congressman, are you referring to the location in South Korea?
I can't be specific to that location, but there are wide reports. What I can say is that I've seen articles that have pointed to a specific building, and from what I've been told, that is not the facility.
Wait, can you explain why we can't? You're trying to get permission, I assume, from our government and another government or somebody with another country to go visit whatever this thing is. Maybe it's a spaceship, maybe it's nothing. Why can't we talk about where it is? I don't get that.
Again, because of the information was gathered inside of a classified setting on my behalf. What I can tell you is I have been trying to get access to even locations that reportedly have craft that are being reverse engineered, that are even close to Washington, D.C. And I'm having a difficult time getting access to even those facilities that are just within a few miles from my office in Washington, D.C. So to try to attempt to go to another country and get permission at that level is going to be somewhat insurmountable. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to try.
It seems like the White House is, at least on some level, behind disclosure. We'll see where it goes throughout the next 3 years. Why is there so much resistance to your request, Congressman?
A lot of it is turf. You have all of the different agencies that protect their information, and it's guarded like it's some kind of commodity. You have committees that protect their turf as well. So if you're not on the right committee, then oftentimes you're turned down, and sometimes there's multiple committees that have jurisdiction over a topic, and they love turning each other down. So the very nature and the difficulty of the red tape system within within the bureaucracy of Congress is something that's very difficult to navigate.
Dr. Greer, why can't this thing be moved? We can move mountains as a society. Why can't we move this thing?
Well, it was my understanding it was way too large to move. And remember,
how large? Can you just any idea how large?
Hundreds of feet, and some of them have been in the thousands of feet across.
And are we talking about a spaceship?
Yes, definitely. In this case, the one I'm referring to, and there's some others. And the other problem is you can't just chop them up, because I know people who have been on crash retrieval teams with an acetylene torch, a high-powered laser, a diamond tip saw. You cannot cut through that material. It is so specialized and it's so hard.
How long has it been here, Dr. Greer? Sorry to cut you off. How long has it been here? Do we have any idea?
He didn't know that, this particular whistleblower, so I don't know it. He indicated it had been there for quite some time.
Congressman, if you are able to visit this spaceship, what do you do with that information when you get back?
Well, look, if I come under any hard evidence, whether it's physical or video evidence that is absolutely definitive, while I'm going to do what I can to protect our national security and our nation's interest, I will not hold back on telling the American people that we are alone or not alone in this universe.
Okay.
That is something that no government has the right to withhold from its people.
I think a lot of people agree with that. And then this weekend, Barack Obama, out of nowhere, said this. Take a look.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
Dr. Greer, did you believe him?
Well, this is the briefing document that was given to him in 2009. It was actually given to John Podesta, who was his senior advisor at the time, and then later ran Hillary's campaign. And it had great detail in it. Now, how much of it got to him directly? I never met with Mr. Obama directly. He did indicate that he knew there was something there, but he was never read into it, meaning this is what I discovered when I briefed the first president, CI director I briefed, which was Bill Clinton in 1993. They were desperate to find information on this, and they were blocked. I think the public and the media need to acknowledge that there are some criminal elements to the secrecy that's gone on for at least since the late 1950s. And so I think Mr. Obama never was fully read into it, and that's why he says, I didn't see anything.
Right.
But was he given information? Yes.
Okay. Dr. Stephen Greer, Congressman Eric Burlison, appreciate you being with us. Congressman, we appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate the fact that you're trying to do this. Please keep us posted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.